Now, in the last couple days, we've been witnessing a stock market go completely crazy. Now, we know the stock market, it is completely manipulated. We know that the Swiss bank has been buying a lot of FANG stocks. We know that there is the plunge protection team. Trump even came out and said he has control over the magic wand. And look what they can do with the magic wand. Actually, out of Market Watch, they had this article about what the stock market did today. And the article reads, and this is the title of the link, but then they changed the title when you click over to it. So this is what they're saying right now of why the Dow did a dramatic reversal. Stocks staged dramatic reversal, leaving Dow off session lows and NASDAQ higher. Now, when you click on the link, the article title actually changes. Stocks closed mostly lower after a dramatic day of trading following arrest of Huawei CFO. So they changed it and they tried to explain why all of a sudden the market completely changed direction. Now remember, the stock market is completely manipulated. Trump has full control over the plunge protection team. He has his individuals in positions where they know how to manipulate. This economy has been manipulated from the very, very beginning. And you can see right now, they changed the title to make sense of why all this is happening. What we're seeing right now is the exposure of the central bank's economy. It's one gigantic illusion. And Trump is continually, with the Patriots, continually manipulating the data, making everyone believe that the economy is doing well. And one way to make everyone believe the economy is doing well, you need to keep the stock market up. Because this is what the deep state, the central bankers use to convince everyone that everything is fine. All the other numbers with stores closing, housing prices falling, mortgage applications decline, nobody cares about that. But that's actually the real economy, the people's economy. I mean, if people can't purchase, if people don't have jobs, the stock market's absolutely meaningless. All these numbers, all these statistics are completely meaningless. So today, the ADP numbers came out, and ADP employment completely disappoints. Job growth, they're saying, might have peaked right now. Job growth peaked a long time ago. It's been the manipulation that's been keeping the job growth looking fantastic. And now it's all falling apart. Actually, large employers right now, they are shedding thousands of jobs for the first time since April 2017. If we look at the initial jobless claims right now, we see that initial jobless claims, they are moving up right now. Now, very interestingly, we see that there are increases in claims in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Massachusetts, decreases in claims in Texas, California, and Florida. Now, Challenger, Gray, and Christmas announced 53,073 job cuts in November, 494,000 job cuts year to date, the most for any November since 2012. Now, this is very odd because this is the holiday season. This is when companies are hiring. The retail sector is hiring because they're getting prepared for the rush for the holiday season. And they put a lot more people, in the stores. They put a lot of people in the shipping companies like UPS, FedEx, and whatnot. But what are we seeing right now? Retail continues to lead all sectors in year-to-date job cut announcements with 96,504 job cuts. Telecommunication companies follow with 59,500 job cuts. Financial firms have announced 41,000 job cuts. For October and November together, layoffs totaled 128,717 in 2018, the most for the 2 months combined since 2008. Now, these numbers really don't matter because nobody actually really looks at them. Nobody cares about them. Everyone just cares about the stock market and the manipulated numbers. But the people's economy, it's falling apart. The central bank economy is going to be exposed. Trump, the Patriots, they will expose the entire system. Once the blame, the narrative, is placed on the Fed, which Trump and the Patriots are doing right now, he's building this narrative, and he's going to continually build this narrative, and every time something happens, he's going to blame the Fed. Because when everything starts to fall apart, he's going to have to point the finger, and this is exactly what is going to happen. Because this will then lead to an audit. People will have questions. Actually, Congress will get involved and say, wait a minute, why did the Fed cause this? Why are we seeing a collapse in the economy? It was doing so well under Trump, and then Trump continually said, the Fed shouldn't be raising rates. The Fed shouldn't be raising rates. The Fed should be creating currency. No matter which way they do it, the system's coming down. The system cannot be sustained right now. There's no way to keep the system moving along. Yes, you can have all the statistical data showing the economy looks great, but if everyone's out of a job and no one's purchasing retail, that's a big problem. Because most of the GDP, 70% of it, comes from people purchasing. They're running out of time right now. We see factory orders. They have tumbled in October. Now, this is also kind of strange because during this time period, this time of year with the holiday season, you usually see factory orders increase. You don't see them decline. But we're seeing them decline. We saw them decline last year. And we're seeing them decline this year. And we see that durable goods, they have dropped by 4.3%. Now, durable goods, they're like the big ticket items, washers, dryers, and things like that. And things are not looking good right now for the economy. Now, remember, the entire plan is to push this economy to the edge. Not for a hard crash, but a crash that's big enough to blame the Fed, where it doesn't hurt as many people as the deep state would have done it, or the central bank would have done it, because they would have just let it crash and they would have just ruined people. This is a very delicate economy to balance when you're trying to get rid of the central bank and you're trying to maneuver a way to transition everyone to a new system without hurting the majority of the population. And this is why you see, slowly but surely, the trade deals are being erased. We're seeing they're being reworked. New trade deals are being formed with China and many other countries. Tariffs now are going by the wayside. A new deal is being worked out with China. Remember, everything that was put into place by the central banks before, by the deep state. Now everything is being reversed. Trump, the Patriots, they have to unwind everything. Now, for a very long time, the central banks have been manipulating the gold price. And while they're manipulating it, and also the silver price, they've been telling us, you don't really need to own gold. You don't need to own silver. They're worthless. They're barbarous relics. It's meaningless. And Sovereign Man put out a very interesting article, and let me just read a portion of it. From 2000 through 2012, the price of gold increased every year, rising from around $280 an ounce to nearly $1,700. It was an unprecedented run. Then, in 2013, gold took a nosedive, losing over 27% of its value. It was widely reported that the Swiss National Bank, the former bastion of monetary conservatism, lost $10 billion that year just on its gold holdings. As you probably know, central banks hold a portion of their reserves in gold. The practice goes back to when central banks actually had to have gold on hand to trade in and out of paper money, even trade for goods and services. And central banks still hold reserves in gold today, even though they don't need to transact like they used to. So that begs the question, did the Swiss National Bank actually lose $10 billion? It still had every ounce of gold in its vaults. And gold, after all, is money. Plus, the Swiss National Bank wasn't holding gold to speculate. So did they really lose anything? No. Today, central banks hold gold as a hedge against fiat money. Now, that's kind of odd. Central banks who tell us that these paper debt notes, that is money, but they hold gold. So these are the guys that are continually printing and printing and printing, telling us to use, or we're forced to use their paper notes, and they are holding gold. So right now, banks are buying up gold hand over fist. Central banks currently hold 20% of all gold ever mined, 33,000 metric tons. And JP Morgan Chase says they'll buy another 650 tons this year and next. Why? Why are they purchasing gold? Because they know their paper currency is worthless. That's why they use the paper currency to buy hard assets. They want property. They want gold. They want the mining of gold. They want swaths of land. They want all of this. And they put countries into debt to buy up their hard assets on pennies on the dollar. So think about this for a second. While the Dow dips and climbs by hundreds of points, gold is still hanging out just below $1,250 an ounce. And it really hasn't made any major moves up or down since 2013. Yet today, an ounce of gold has about the same purchasing power as it had 1,100 years ago. So while every other asset is still at or near all-time highs, gold is not. Don't you find that interesting? It's manipulated. This way, central banks can go in and purchase as much as they want. Physical. China's been purchasing. Russia's been purchasing. They know eventually the fiat system's going to die. They already know this. Why do you think China, Russia, India, and the rest of the nations, why do you think they're using their national currencies and they're moving away from the dollar? Because they realize that the central bank note that everyone is being forced to use, it's coming to an end. This is why countries have been repatriating their gold. This is why central banks have been purchasing gold. Because they know the truth. They don't want you to know. But what is happening here is that everyone should be purchasing gold and silver for insurance against a collapse of a fiat system. Forget about worrying if gold goes up or down, sideways. It makes no difference. You're purchasing it to protect your wealth. Just like if you purchased a home today, if you're living in the home, does it really matter if it goes up, it goes down, if you're just living in the home? Because one day it could be way down. A year later, it could be way up. The next year, it could be way down. But if you're living in the home and you have no intention of selling, it makes no difference if the price goes up or down, because you're not selling it. Yes, maybe in your mind, you might think, oh, look, I just lost $10,000. Or, ooh, I just gained $10,000. But it's absolutely meaningless until you go to sell. The same thing with gold. It's meaningless what the gold price does as you're holding it. I mean, think about it. You're holding dollars right now. And every day it loses value. Every time you see the price go up on products, it's not that the products are becoming more expensive. The dollar is losing value. So when you go to the store and you say, oh, wow, that piece of, fruit or the bread or the steak gone up a little bit, you just lost purchasing power. So you're holding on to a piece of paper and it's losing value. So you're holding on to this currency that is losing value every single day. When you look at automobile prices, they keep going up and up and up. And guess what? That means you're losing value in this paper currency that the central banks are giving you, because it's really a debt note. So when people worry about gold and silver, nobody is thinking about how much you're losing in paper currency. And that's actually what's happening. So to get out of all of this, to get out of where we are today, everyone needs to be ready and prepared, because we're going to be going through this transition. The central bank will be exposed, and the only way to really survive this is to protect yourself. And I'm protecting myself. You should protect yourself. And it doesn't mean you have to buy bars of gold. I mean, or you can buy junk silver. Or if you have enough, buy a silver coin. I mean, think about how inexpensive they made it today. It's $12, $14, $13. Can you imagine if that went up to 50, to 40, to 30, to 20, and you had to sell it? Otherwise, you just hold it. It's an insurance policy. The same thing with gold. So we're moving towards this transition. Trump is pushing the plan, and this entire plan now is to get rid of the deep state, to arrest certain individuals, to expose the central bank and what they've done to the economy, and to bring the entire system down, to reset it. So get prepared and get ready for what's coming.